So the last session for today is career path in planning. You understand? So that will be taken by Jodola Abiola. We call him Ipota during our own set. He's from my set. He's a DAAD scholar. I think he has introduced himself, but maybe a lot of people were not around. So, Mr. Abiola Jodola, sir, are you prepared? Are you able to come and take the class? Take the
Yeah,
Mania class.
okay, yeah. So it's really nice to be here. For me, this is like I think the first time I'm engaging with a group of students, especially from the Department of Urban and Regional Planning in OAU since I left, I think around 2018. So thank you so much for inviting me also to Fumi. It's the fact that this is my first time is one of the reason why even though I've had a very long journey now, I've had to fly 12 hours from different end of the world to Sao Paulo, Brazil this morning, but I still find it as a point of duty to actually try as much as possible to share one or two things from my own end. You've all heard from so many of our colleagues who have been here. We all started doing our things as undergraduates. We all started learning from people that have gone before us, and we've had to take cue from what they have done as individuals. And I don't have a presentation from my own end, but I think I will just share personal experiences and probably draw some insight from bits of anecdotes, personal stories that I would probably share with us today. And we might, at the end of the day, learn one or two things. And if peradventure you don't or at the end of the conversation you didn't really get what you actually hope to get or what you actually want to hear from myself or any other person on this call, I think it's important that you try and reach out to us individually as well. Sometimes it might be a bit I might be a bit tardy and not um, replying as early as you want to, but you can reach out my LinkedIn, my Facebook, and all other pages. So yeah, career pathways in planning. I mean, I'm not I'm not an expert in this field. I'm not an expert in this area. I'm sure we have so many respected planners, respected urban specialists who have also graduated from the department and have gone on to big organizations, multinational organizations to do big things. But from personal experience, I think we can then start from the scratch. What do you as a person, or why are you as a person in the Department of Urban and Regional Planning? I think when we were in school, then there was this joke by I can't remember if it was Professor Olojede or Professor Daramola that some of you were sent to planner by force and planner by will. So there are conversations we they normally, I think when we first got into the university, then they were the things that we normally hear. For me, I was also, let me not say fully, but I was also a planner by force because it wasn't something I wanted to do when I was in secondary school. I was dreaming of being an economist or an accountant who would get ICANN certification and at the end of the day, work in a bank and all of those things. But at some point, my you know how it happens, my academic grade on from secondary school couldn't get me the placement which I want. So I eventually had to settle with urban and regional planning. And coincidentally, as fate will have it, my mom is an urban planner, but on a technical level, she never went to the university. She only did the national diploma, and for over 30 years now, she has been working with the Town Planning Authority in Oyo State. But one thing I've always seen her bring town planning, location plan. I'll see location plan, layout plan, and all of those things. And I'll be like, what's this? What are you guys doing? And by the time I got in and then I realized that was what she was doing, my only thinking at that point was the fact that, okay, so after my graduation, I would have to work with probably the federal government, the state government, or the local planning authority. At some point, this thinking started shifting because of my interest in things around me, governance, politics, and all of those things. So by the time I graduated, I realized that there were so there are so many areas I can actually explore and get myself acquainted to while also being a town planner. So after my graduation, I continued to pursue my interest in planning because one, I had a motivator in my mom who was actually interested in me becoming a professional that she couldn't become in this particular field. Many of my friends, my colleagues didn't have that. So it was very easy for them to switch from this particular field to the other. So, and I'm sure so many of us here on this call today might not have that as well. And I'm really, really excited because having this is a form of motivation, is a form of having people sharing their experiences with you is a form of is a sort of catalyst to help you determine your future and to also reshape your interest in this particular field. So that motivation continued for me. So during my NYSC, I was really, really particular about going to somewhere where I could further my town planning interest. Do you get? So I wanted somewhere. I was rejected in two different places, and I had to walk through into another place of myself in that is Enugu Capital Territory Development Authority because I wanted to continue further my interest in urban planning. So all of those things continued on a more professional level while I was trying to also develop and build interest in sustainable development. So there are different areas, people that are concerned with oceanography or professionals in oceanography deals with life underwater. And that is where their sustainable development interest aligned with. But we as urban planner, our sustainable development SDG goals interest is far, like it's wide. You can say no poverty. Planners are having to investigate how the impact of poverty on urban morphology or the impact of poverty, unemployment on urban informality and all of those things. So how can we expand citizens' participation in planning process? So that is what I'm actually doing now in another area as a side project that I'm doing as a planner. And then one of the courses we did then rather, was also on infrastructural planning. When you look at it again, there are a lot of infrastructural planners I've met in recent time. I was in a conference last year in Rotterdam, Netherlands, and the conference was about uh, cities itself, the city mayors, politicians, town planners, landscape planners, policy analysts, and all of those things. So infrastructural planning is also one area that you think you need to look at. And then transportation planning, we were doing transportation planning then. And at some point, however, then I felt some of the things that we were learning, the world had actually moved or advanced from counting traffic and all of those things when we were in the university. But when I started visiting different countries, I found young people in the area of transportation planning becoming railway transportation planners, analysts, becoming analysts in understanding how can we pedestrianize our urban centers. Then we have people who are also working in countries like Netherlands. We have town planners we have planners rather that are designing waterway system to ensure that the ports and also the boats, transportation routes in the country. So there are this wide range of opportunities for you in all of these areas. And the thing about it is that we had courses that focused on all of these when we were during our undergraduates. So like I said, I wasn't really like, so for some period we were like, okay, let me just pass this thing and go on with whatever it is I want to do in the future and all of those things. But then you realize that planning keeps evolving, even though planning as a profession in Nigeria is still pegged, or let me put it in a way, is still rooted in the post-colonial planning techniques that we got from the British colonial route, and that is still ingrained in the Nigerian urban and regional planning law that we currently use in other parts of the world. And planning has evolved. Go to Europe, even in Latin America, where I am presently now, planning is still nascent. However, it has evolved as a field of big interest to big policymakers and even the president of the country. So as part of the program that I'm currently doing now, my work is not even focused on quantitative aspect of planning. It's focused on the qualitative aspect. How can we as planner become problem solver through policy, through public policy? So then you start looking at how can planners design public policies that help address huge urban informality. So in my research currently, I'm working with urban social movements who are actually trying as much as possible to address the issue of favela. So slums, as we call it in Nigeria, is called favela here. And the government is really, really interested in funding researchers that are looking at how do we address the multifaceted problem favelas are facing in the area of infrastructure provision, in the area of socioeconomic inequality, in the area of racial discrimination, as they have it here in Brazil as well. And then again, planners are being looked upon to design new public policy papers around land policy. How can we ensure that there is a democratic access to land while having to dismantle the capitalist regime that is trying to commodify access to land in big urban areas? And then there is this other area of how do we look at the metropolitan governance, which is the governance of a state, of a subnational system. How do we get them to design policy that help to address the problem that the people are facing? Because if you look at the problem cities are facing all around the world now, planners have solution to it, but planners with real interest in different areas. I'm sure you guys might have done something around waste management as well. We did a couple of courses on that. We did a couple of courses on regional development planning as well in when during our undergraduate. Those courses are actually very, very important, and they form the foundation, the bedrock for you to build upon. Because as young planners, even if you are thinking of pursuing your interest outside of Nigeria, outside in America, in Asia, in Europe, or any other place, note that you are competing with a couple of other professionals who have lived experiences of this advanced aspect of planning that we did not get. We are not having presently now in Nigeria. So when after my undergraduate, I went to the Ministry of Physical Planning in Oyo State as sort of an ad hoc staff, just to pursue my interest and to build more on my professional portfolio so I could get registered and do so many other things. And most of the things that we were doing was just on development control and all of these things. But the real experience I had was during when the World Bank invested hugely in natural disaster infrastructure in Oyo State then after the huge flooding that happened in August 2012. And the Ibadan urban flood management projects came to life and they started investing, bringing professionals, urban specialists. I started seeing how what planning is beyond red marking, beyond designing layout and all of those things. We have so much to do as planners and we need to start embracing that. We need to start understanding that. Currently in my program as a master's student, I'm currently working in a research lab called Safe Favela, which is Center for Favela Studies. So we are looking at favelas in Brazil. And as you all know, Moyi talked about the proliferation of urban population, and we are seeing it. It's manifesting in different ways in Lagos, in Abuja, in Ibadan, and all other urban areas in Nigeria. And one of the manifestation is that people try to contest spaces where they are going to stay. And that's where you now start seeing deep informality across different areas. And it is here also. But what we currently do is try to understand how do we address the problem. And we have some different professionals that we are currently working with, sociologists, psychologists. We have people who had background in public policy, economics. They are looking at the financialization of the real estate market in all these favelas after the government had provided infrastructure. So you see that planning is so wide because if you remember also, we had urban economics when we were during our undergraduate, we did something called urban economics. So you find out that this curriculum that has been designed for you is very, very important. And you also need to improve and develop more. We have Tayo Yusuf, who is someone that is vast in technical area of planning, talked about GIS as well. For someone like me, in recent time, I've not had to work on GIS, but I've had to work on the qualitative aspect of planning. So these are the wide range of opportunities that you have. And after my studies doing technical planning projects in the ministry, I even decided to start a project with other people that I met during my NYSC. We founded an organization that we had to look at how can we get citizens to hold public officials accountable and to also engage them on the different issues like water, education facilities, other transportation facilities, and other things that we are facing in our society. It's also what many planners are doing now. If you Google C40 cities, C40 cities is a coalition of city mayors and governors from different parts of the world. So it used to be 40 cities coming together. Now it has expanded. And the main aim of C40 cities is to ensure that the mayors of big metropolitan areas or cities of this world tend to engage together and design policy programs. And one of the things they do is they have now designed toolkits to engage citizens on issues around planning. So in cities like London, Glasgow, Berlin, you have the things they call ULEZ, which is ultra low emission zone. This was as a result of engaging with citizens. And this is one of the things that I currently do, like with my organization, where we try to hold elected public officials accountable and get them involved in issues that really, really affect the people. Advocacy is also part of planning. There is something we call advocacy planning. So you have to look at how opportunities abound and not to limit yourself. These days now, you see people from different fields coming into planning. And I find it really, really disappointing to say, because we have so many planners that are not exploring the wide range of opportunities that planning offers us. And people from other fields are actually engaging in urban planning field now. I have a friend who did veterinary medicine during his undergraduate program, and he got a scholarship into LSC. His PhD program presently now is focused on cities in Africa and how I think there's this huge disease that affects animals in urban areas, how it affects and the interconnection of this disease to the health of urban residents. And he's doing this research under the urban studies lab in that particular institution. And we have a couple of people like that. Like I told you, currently most of my colleagues have background in sociology, architecture, and they are looking at intersection of planning to how cities are being formed and how we can then plan cities of the future by looking at, we have historians now that are actually trying to get themselves into planning in the what's it called, in postgraduate level, and we have philosophers that are also developing new concept. So if you think you understand what your strength is, if you think you understand what your real interest is, you can then start building on all of these things. And I believe me, you have so many things to achieve as a planner. I connected with someone who graduated from urban and regional planning department here in our department. I think he did his master's and PhD in OAU as well. And he's currently working with a multinational organization that I think is Center for I can't remember, but he's working on security and the urban area. Who would think that? For me, my undergraduate self wouldn't think that way, because how do you then start thinking of security? And I've watched him grant interviews on BBC, CNN, talk about the intersection of security and how cities, countries can address the problem, and the role public policy, community engagement, and all of these things can play. So you have so many things at your disposal to learn about. The truth is, you are competing with people with advanced tool, advanced technology, advanced network than yourself. And it's very, very important that you, as a young person, during your undergraduate, you are able to then start opening your mind to all of these opportunities and start getting yourself acquainted to new areas that you can explore as planners. Go to organizations like C40. There is another organization called Convent of Mayor. Check organization like ICLEAR. ICLEAR is, I think, International Association for Local Government across the world. Look at how governance is very, very key to urban planning, and how we can also start working on all of these things. In as much as you want to study, you want to get scholarship, you want to do all of these things, you need to get yourself positioned, because I don't want us to lose young people to things they don't like or they don't have interest in doing. Aside from working with government these days, multinational organization, consulting organizations are also employing people with deep interest in environment, climate, and all of these things. Like I said, did PwC, many of us know organizations like this. They now employ associates on sustainability, on climate resilience, on ESG. ESG is environment, sustainability, and governance. So all of these new areas are emerging, and we as planners, so you don't just peg yourself because you study urban and regional planning. What we learned during our undergraduate, the curriculum that we have is all encompassing, and it can take you everywhere. Do you get? I was currently part of a program where I had to visit PwC office in Germany last month, and part of the program that we looked at, part of the things that we looked at, or the core part, the core area of the PwC that we were introduced to and we worked under, was PwC's sustainability program and the ESG program. So as planners, we have so many opportunities, NGOs, international organizations, and all of these things. And let me just conclude with this. The planning process that we were taught, that we started with using all these big concepts, the Patrick Geddes, and then we moved to new planning process that we learned during our undergraduate. Let me tell you, I've been doing public policy lately now. Everything that we learned, identifying a problem, collecting data. If you can remember the process, collecting data, analyzing the data, exploring alternative, that is more like the public policy process now. If you find a problem, how do you address it? Problem of health inequality, identity. So all of those things are very, very important. I thought they were not useful for me, but I'm telling you today, I still use them. I remember the public policy process that I learned in my postgraduate because of the solid foundation I had in my undergraduate. So all of these things, you don't get to lose them. You get to hold them to your heart and pick the ones that are very, very important for you. We did natural resource planning when we were in undergraduate. It aligns with so many things. Planners are working on natural resources now, and how do we achieve low emission with the extraction of natural resources on and all of these things. So please try as much as possible, explore your option, talk to people when you are confused, and try as much as possible to get new things. So if there are any questions, I'll be right here to take any question, and then I'll also be glad to connect with our young planners and share little experience. I do share some of my experience on my social media on LinkedIn, Isabiola Durudola, and also on Facebook, Isabiola Durudola. But over the years, I've been looking at how do we as young people develop, because let me tell you, planning is a very, very good field that when you continue, you are doing what you love and you'll be happy with what you are doing. So try as much as possible to build on that. Thank you so much. Over to you, Tofumi.
Thank you so much. That was very awesome. He spoke from his heart. Like he spoke what he wanted to tell you guys all these years. And he packaged it in a short while. So actually, we are done with our sessions. So please, if you have any question, you might want to unmute your mic and talk. And if you feel like you're shy, you can also drop your question on the chat box. So, Mr. Tayo, let's have that part of how this part one student can get, like how you can get more prepared part one days. So that is the addendum we want to have from Mr. Tayo Yusuf.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. And we appreciate staying up to this moment. A lot have been said by scholars who take the time to present a lot of things to us today. But after all these talks, after all the discussions, the question is, where do we start? So one thing I just want to highlight some of the things that I think we need to start doing in maybe you want to practice, maybe you want to study abroad, maybe just anything you want to. Like it has been established from the discussion so far, planning is part. Planning is everything here, just the foundations that you can explore personally to achieve. So the first thing I would like to mention here is to connect your learning to the real world application. Everything we are being taught in class, don't just take it as, let me just cram it, like I'm like, as we used to say those things. Board is important. So anything you thought that, just try to ask questions. Put it at the back of your mind. Number one, what is the real world application of what that will shaping your idea, to shaping your future. You will ask yourself many intrinsic questions about what exactly do I do here? Just say planning as something so wide that you just have one area to pick. And to pick an area, you have 5 years of that journey to do that, from part 1 to part 5. If you have identified this, like I mentioned, imagine areas in life. It is so wide that even now, I have a professor who is working on geo game, just gaming now into plan. I don't know if you have heard about it. There are a lot of things coming on geo games, just geographic game, using GIS and how all those are used. And there's also a movement of placemaking. There are a lot of things coming up. So just and we have the basics. Just try to identify, number one, what I've been taught in class today. How will I connect it? I know it will be very difficult because, to my personal opinion, I think planning practice in Nigeria is still very primitive because we are using the government power to undermine the effort of the planners. Yeah, if I can put it that way. We don't have the right unit of government, or unit, a special unit of governance. We still have lack. We don't allow the local government to function. And planning is local and is a local issue that should be treated as such. The government, especially at state level, hijacked what planners should be doing. All these things we are talking, just compare the research or any other policies from Lagos when we are comparing across the globe. You will see Lagos State being treated as a city. Lagos is not a city. Lagos is a state. And compared with every other areas, research areas all over the globe. Rodala was mentioning something earlier that they have a city mayor presence, because those are the drivers of cities, not the governor. They are the city mayor, they are the local government chairman. They are real drivers of city. And that should be, the special unit for governance in Nigeria. But unfortunately, we don't have that. So, and that is affecting our policies, is affecting our monitoring, is affecting our public participation approach. It's affecting many things that planners ought to be doing. But we just have to research more. If you can't get that at home, just research beyond what you have been taught and see how all these things are being practiced outside of Nigeria. You are competing with many other professionals in the world, and you don't want to limit yourself into to what Nigeria can offer you. You can be in Nigeria, and a professor in Unilag recently got she got an offer from a university in the UK. And she never left Nigeria, although she has a lot of areas where she's practicing outside. But these are the things that we need to ask ourselves so that we can identify who we are and start planning our career in that part. Ask, how is this thing that I'm learning connecting to the real world application? Then number two is to develop a creative and critical thinking. This is another soft skill that we take for granted. And I will appreciate our department for that. Seriously, you can undermine URP department, but for that one, I can give you an assurance that you are in the best. If you compare your department to maybe, let me say, English department, the quality of our thinking, our research work in CR, in URP, OAU, never could compare to many other departments, in that same OAU. I can tell you that for sure. When we were writing our final thesis, I was opportune to stay outside, just, have a conversation with your colleague, outside the department and see what they need. So we see that just one lecturer is assigned to 200 students, 300 students, they'll just do wish-wash, they just submit. Unlike the critical writing skills that we developed when we were in school, all these things come to shaping who we are today. So please make best use of those opportunities and develop yourself in that area. There are many things you can do. Just I can tell you that no matter what your personal ambition is, there is planning implication for it. Just take it and you'll have the word to explore to achieve that. So develop creative and critical thinking. Try to think on the spot. These are the soft skills that will give you edge at your workplace or any other way you find yourself to practice. Another thing is develop skills for building and nurturing relationships. Don't take relationship for granted. This is one of the skills, this is one of the yardsticks you will be measured after school. Someone said that he had been recruiting for many years, and your CV will qualify you to be, to be invited for interview, but they will only hire you if they think they can work with you. Your relationship, your perspective to relationship, building relationship with people will take you far. Although we we try to commercialize that in Nigeria and take it upside down. Your network is a net worth. Many times it's like that. Try just to build relationship where you are. Don't undermine it. Don't overlook anything. Otedola once said that what the connection he made in school is more important in his life than the degree itself. So these are some of the testimony. But beyond that, professionally, you need to learn how to build and nurture relationship. So another thing is be open to constructive criticism. We is it professional practice class that we need to they have to present it's part 5. That's the I think Dr. Darren
Planning
wants to
seminar. Planning
okay,
seminar.
planning seminar. Wow. That's one of the that's another interesting part that it's very fun, but I can tell you that those skills you develop as can never be quantified. You learn to in the process of no, this guy talked down on my group. I want to talk down. During that process, you will give when you're just given manuscripts of other group work, and you were trying to, but because you are so much intentional about no, this guy criticized my work, you will put in more effort in reading, understanding exactly what that person is saying. Although doing that might be very dangerous because some just read for attack. No, don't read for attack. Just understand that you should be able to criticize logically. And one of the approach that it has been established by literature is a sandwich approach, where you try to commend the speaker about what they have said, the research they have done, and you chip in, like just an idea that, oh, I think you can do better if you consider this, and your ability to read, comprehend, and make a good critics, and also make yourself vulnerable to accept criticism. It's one of the ingredients that will take you far in life. Your colleagues don't just look beyond the approach. Try to look beyond the approach. Someone I just said, what's all this nonsense? Just pick the good thing about it and let however that person is presented that idea. Just open yourself to criticism. That is one of the way you can develop yourself. So another thing is ask questions and stay curious. Although some people might argue, like, I too know is always one who wants to take the glory in the class and all. Don't mind that you are developing yourself, and you're one of the things, as bad as you may think Nigeria is, one of the things we take for granted is the education we are getting. If you say Nigeria is bad, especially those abroad, and you also leverage on that education to spur, your next level in life, I don't think you should speak that bad of that government. Your colleague abroad are emptying their bank. Their parents are emptying their bank accounts to give their kids exactly what you are given almost for free in Nigeria. Try to use that and appreciate that for the government, and use that as a leverage. See that as a good opportunity to develop yourself. In my own department, for example, they give, when I was discussing with the Dodge that always, giving out admissions, screening students, and I can tell that the top nationals that were given consideration in most of the admission given so far, Nigeria and Ghana is one of them. And I can tell you in my department, all the Nigerians admitted so far, they are all OAU students. That's interesting. In my own department, all the Nigerians admitted so far, they are all from OAU. We have people from agric extension, we have geography, we have some from electrical, we have some from planning. When I was doing my master's at OAU, I have 3 of my classmates in the same class, and we have like from the same program we have, I think we should have had up to maybe 4 or 5 now alumni in that same department. So you are in the best hands and you have the best. Just make use of them to your advantage and try to develop all these skills. Ask questions and stay curious about what you have been, and try to develop yourself beyond the tools you are given. All these things, they are just like soft skills, just soft skills given to you that you need to better off and develop yourself. Another thing is develop the time management and organization skills. Try to tell yourself that any assignment I'm given, I will never ask for extension to submit it. Those this is one of the things that can take you from one step to the other, even when you are practicing as anything, as a professor, as an entrepreneur, anything you find yourself. Just try to manage time. Time waits for no one, and it can be demanding. Telling you it can. So that is one. Then build digital literacy. There are a lot of those available. I can't read it all, but if you just categorize them onto 3 BIM, building information, then look at GIS. GIS is so wide. GIS is so wide. There are a lot of areas you can. Maybe I'm thinking, maybe we can organize a GIS seminar. Well, GIS is so wide and its capability is so wide in land management, economic financing, day to day. Everything is just so wide. GIS is so wide. The remote sensing is another thing entirely. We are presently working on a project with NASA where we are exposing the high school, secondary school into spatial science, into space science, and it is a program organized and sponsored by NASA that I'm also part of. So and it's part of one area in GIS, remote sensing. So GIS is so wide, and there are many things you can learn from that. There are also handheld tools that you need to develop yourself. And as big as that, and as little as PowerPoint presentation might be, just try to utilize the AI and be cautious how you use them. Just use them to your advantage. Don't just use them to replace your human curiosity at large. Then build digital literacy and technical skills. Very, very important. Another thing I would like to mention is cultivate a good mindset. Set a target for yourself. Don't be part of those who say book is a scam. It's not. Education is not a scam. Education is not a scam. Try to stay focused. If you can have first class, please put in your best to add. If you can't, put in your best to achieve the best. Don't blame yourself that, I had the opportunity to do better than this, but I'm serious. Many people, when we're in school, we know how we think. Some don't even think that because we are studying. Google knows planning, plan that I will mention to people. Mentioning it to them, they don't know. It don't mean that it is serious. They know planning is so lucrative, and there are many areas, there are many professions you can just start from. I can say that almost every course you will be taking or you are taking, is an area of specialization in planning. Just take it like that. Transportation alone is so wide. Housing is so wide. You can have more than 5 you can have more than 5 planners working on housing in a different aspect of it. We have planners who focus on just affordability. We have planners who focus on housing and health. We have planners who focus on housing and people with disability. Just in practice, and that is what it is so wide. So just take everything, every topic, every course, take it very serious. There are potential areas you can develop yourself and excel in life. Just have a growth mindset. Then another thing, get comfortable with teamwork, collaboration, work in team. I think that's one area that I would also commend the department from our part 2 days when we went to go for all this every semester teamwork, land use updates, and all this analysis, working as a team has always been part of it because you can't work have to team. So try to develop yourself. Don't be an absentee team member. Always put in your best. All these things they count, and you are developing yourself, writing history, and shaping your own future with your own heart when you participate fully in all these things. Then develop a stream work habit, reputation for reliability. Always be known for being reliable. Always be known for someone they can count on. Always be known for something good that anybody can talk about. You can mention you when you are not in a room, when you are known for all these things. Then to capture everything up, put yourself out for internship or volunteering as brother just said long ago, volunteering, just volunteer anyway. Here, you have to, there are some things that we take for granted in Nigeria. We can just bring out ball, everybody starts playing. You can just bring out something, and community gathering, is one of the things that we take for granted. Here, you have to write a proposal. You have to seek for funding. You have to go all out just to bring people together for social gathering. What you just get for free back home. So that is just like a soft or available tool for you to manipulate. People will always come out for and any other thing. Put yourself out to organize one, put yourself out to coordinate it anytime you have the opportunity. Because this is one area in career that people are exploring today and making millions of dollars from it. So any aspect in planning, planners are known for creating that connection between the policymakers and the citizens. Planners are always at the forefront when they are seeking community participation. So explore all these things and put yourself out. And I think one or two things that I've mentioned today will assist you or will help in one way or the other. These are some of the things that we ourselves have gone through and are shaping our future to where we are today, and we are still aspiring to do better and do. Thanks so much. Thank you.
All right. That was not only insightful, but was comprehensive. Yes, we want you to learn from those things we have learned. And I think maybe your generation is now Gen Z. I'm not Gen Z, though. I'm not Gen Coco. I'm human being, okay? So they said that people are Gen Z and you're taking a lot of things for granted. Don't take things for granted. That is why you see, as he was talking, he was really talking from the things that really shaped us. It was when I got to my own country, I found out that oh, you did a lot of work. Yeah. And then I was glad I went to OAU. It's not about the shouting of any other universities counterfeit. No, it's not the bragger. But maybe our department, let me just say, OAU department, our lecturers are doing a great job. They are not mediocres. Yeah, they are sound. And they always push you for excellence. They did that. And I credit them for that. So thank you so much, Mr. Yusuf, for that awesome uh, session. Mr. Rodola, Miss Moyi, Miss Amina, Mrs. Aminat, thank you so much. Eshe Goni. Yes. All right. So question session now. You see, now we have taken a lot of time. Our plan is just to spend a couple hour, but now we have taken couple hour. It's now going to 3 hours now. See. Oh yeah. So let's quickly take your question. Finish in the next, as in by 3:30 Nigerian time like this, we are gone. Okay? We are gone by 3:30 Nigerian time. So do you have any question? Do you have anything you want to tell us? I saw a question. Where we borrow generator. Okay. This we are in the spirits, don't worry. So I saw one question here, and the person said that the career opportunities, she mentioned a PhD program that takes 5 years without MSc. Yes, there are countries like that, especially in the US. Sometimes you can do your masters, you can see full funding for masters, but most times in the US, they don't like to fund masters like that. So they can give partial fund, they'll tell you to go and bring the remaining money by yourself. So there are countries like the US especially, they like that direct. They don't like to, because of the research nature of the what is it called? Because of the research nature of your work. So they like people that is on the long term, that is able to, unlike the one that just will go away. They just want you to, and it's not like you are funding yourself. They want you to stay on the research, get used to it, know your beats, grind your, be more grounded in it. Let it be your feed. Because the PhD work and it's going to dictate your path, you understand, in your career, in your academic field. So they want you to be more immersed in it. So they would want you to go with your PhD. Don't just do MSc and go away. Do you understand? They want you to take that path. So they take for like 5 years. So some countries like South Korea, yeah, they do combine masters and PhD. I think maybe Southeast Asia generally. But I think I know for Korea, they do masters and PhD combine, some of them. Or they just give you your 2 years masters, or they give you 3 to 4 years PhD, or no, officially 3 to 4 years. So they wish they can combine, that'll be 5 years. Some of them they do BSc and MSc combined. Like when you get your admission, you get admission for BSc, MSc combined. There are different something level. Everything is not rigid green like Nigeria, you understand? You can do your BSc, MSc. As in when you get your part one like this, you're on your part two. When you finish 1 year, when you finish your BSc, you're just going to MSc straight. Understand? So you don't need to do break. You understand? They just anyway that it can help you. And they do major and minor too. Like you major in this course, then you minor in this one. Like if you're in URP, you major in URP, you minor on real estate. So there are a lot of things. Just a word that has its own opportunity. So the question is put to you, what will you rather do? What will you do to be different? What will you explore? What will you gain from this? Everybody over, we have come here to spend our time, and it's been a long time of giving back. Okay. So please, you want to, for me now, I can remember what Dr. Olojede did for me 12 years ago. He helped me to find myself. Maybe I would have still be failing my courses because I didn't like URP. But just one word, one class that I did not miss helped me. And I'm still going far and far. So please, want to hear your feedback in years to come. All right, please make it. You're not a failure. You're on third class. That does not mean you're a failure. They don't mind. Okay, that does not mean you cannot make it. That does not mean you cannot get anywhere. What we do with it matters. So, on these notes, we're going to be rounding up our session today. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. There is no more question. So let me appreciate the department first. Yeah, there are a lot of background incontingencies and suddenly, after man have plans, have been planned rather, things that come up. But in spite, this our URP people, they stood. Thank you for the honor of staying and listening to us today. We are so grateful. I also want to thank our speakers, and that is from Aminat Adesanya to Mr. Taisu to Mr. Abela Dodola. He has been flying for over 12 hours. Yet, he's trying to still make it. That's a very great sacrifice on his part. And some of these people in the US, they are waking up as early as 6, 7 to work. In my place, you don't wake up 6, 7 because we start our day 9 a.m. For me, here, it's night time for me. This is after 11 my time, okay? So I want to appreciate Mr. Akin Binu too because he's in his office. Yes, he loves you. Imagine, said he finished 2010. God bless you so much. And thank you for everybody who has joined us today. Region D, Region D that I used to laugh with and we used to mock because he had one Region D president in our set. So we call him Region D, Region D. I never did that Region D one day come and visit. So thank you, Region D. Anybody from Region D that attended this seminar, we are grateful. And we joined us from our LinkedIn post. We are grateful. Thank you so much. And we thank you to our guys in the department. Thank you to OAUGSF, the Zoom adler, the designer, everybody. Thank you so much. So to here would draw the curtain. Or do anybody have anything to say? Anything?
Yes, ma.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma. We really appreciate the opportunity you gave to us this afternoon. It's afternoon here. So we really thank you. We really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you so much, ma. And we look forward to having more of this opportunity with with you and with the forum, ma. Thank you very much, ma. Thank you to all the speakers. We really, really appreciate. We learned a lot actually, and we are so grateful. Thank you so much, ma.
How we know that you learned a lot is in years to come. Okay? We want to you to come and meet us, disturb us with your SOP, disturb us when you want to start applying for your scholarship, okay? Disturb OAUGSF. We've sent the WhatsApp link. Join. We have a mentorship is already going on, right? And I think Mr. Tayo mentioned that we can have a seminar for GIS. Mr. Tayo, did you say that? Mr. Tayo Yusuf, did you say that? I heard that. Is he still there? I heard that Neil, so that if it is that, so you go and meet him, he can come and do that for you. He's a guru. Oh, look at them. You will pay for it. $1,000. So that let us ask him first. Let us confirm here now. So that before we Mr. Tayo Yusuf, are you there? Are we up for some GIS seminar? I don't think you can hear me. Well, I thought I had that. Kilawi, what do you say?
Yes, it's possible.
Oh, Mama, you are there. So he said we can have GIS seminar. So that is Opsan OAU Ife's work. To reach out to him and find a time to have that. Don't throw it away. Don't know tomorrow. So thank you very much. God bless you.